everybody but me hate that last episode? Well, what?
Wait,
I didn't hate it.
What? I liked it.
Anthony, you hated.
No,
You.
you didn't.
No.
You completely missed the ball with that.
We all love WandaVision.
Oh, fair enough. That's fine then. Because
Wait, what
I've heard a lot of coverage
Oh.
about WandaVision that say, "Oh, we were disappointed. Doctor Strange wasn't in it.
Listen,
Magneto wasn't."
This
There.
is just The Last Jedi all over again. People raising their expectations too high.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
the Mephisto people.
Damn you, new rock stars.
Have you seen his video? Is he still trying to figure out how Mephisto can get into? Like he's saying now. He said like Mephisto is gonna be in Doctor Strange. It's like, bro.
Let it
Look,
go.
listen. I love Snoke. All right. I was like, hey, he's gonna be in some good material. When they released that comic that he was on this little grass planet, I was like, yes, they're doing Snoke some story. And then they gave up. And then I gave up on Snoke. I'm not sitting there, oh, the acolyte. What about Snoke? I'm not. New rock stars, bro. Let it go.
I thought it was great. I loved it. The Vision on Vision fight was great. The Wanda and Agatha fight, even though it's sort of that classic early comic book movie, I want your power. Give me all the power. Here, take all the power.
It was literally the 2003 Hulk fight.
Yes. Like the really emotional moments would hit like super hard. Like her saying goodbye.
The ending stuff.
Oh my god. Like saying goodbye to the kids and that final moment with Vision where it's like we'll say hello again because we've said goodbye multiple times. It's like oh my god. Yeah, it was I loved it. Yeah.
I mean, it'll be very interesting to see what becomes of White Vision going forward. Especially considering that he tried to kill Wanda.
Yeah. I don't know.
Did you
like
have you heard about the thought experiment of the ship of Theseus?
It's the same thing about the broom handle in Deep Breath, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought WandaVision overall was good. It's not perfect by any means. I think in the end I really didn't like Evan Peters in it. I didn't like his maybe I'm being like ignorant. I just didn't get why he was there. Like I liked the setup, but the payoff at the end, I was just like, okay, so why are you even here then?
The payoff was a
his name is Boner. And I think that's like, I guess maybe fan expectation, but you casted Evan Peters. That's not fan expectation. You casted Evan Peters.
Misdirection.
I guess, but I just thought it was shitty misdirection.
Of casting somebody who is already established as a Quicksilver, then you expect them to to have that role again.
Yeah, but it's like that whole thing of when Paul Bettany said, "Oh, super cool cameo. It's somebody I've never acted with before."
That's not the same thing.
That's not the same. This is outside the show. This was inside the show.
Yeah.
If you can't just have Benedict Cumberbatch walking in the background, and for anyone watching the show to be like, "Wait a minute, that's the Doctor Strange actor. Why is he there?" And just be like, he's just there for the sake of it. It's like, no, that's not how it works.
The problem with this is just its meta existence. Obviously, the story called for a Pietro imposter, and if you're not going to get Aaron Taylor-Johnson back, then your only other alternative is Evan Peters, because he is established as a Quicksilver. So there is this level of identifiability here. But the crux of the matter is, well, if you're going to bring in this guy, then you have specific expectations that come along as baggage. The whole nature of Phase 4 will be opening the door to the multiverse. So you naturally expect, and considering Doctor Strange 2 is literally called Multiverse of Madness, you expect, well, okay, we know that they've got the rights back to X-Men and Fantastic Four. Let's start opening the door and bridging the gap. And let's begin by bringing in the Quicksilver from the other, family of stuff. And then if you, at the end, you're going to subvert it for a dick joke, that's not cool.
Yeah.
But isn't he... It's also confirmed then that he is the Ralph that Agnes...
Yes.
Yeah.
...was talking about earlier on. Yeah.
You know, another misdirect that they throwed in there, and it was another behind-the-scenes thing, is they had a piece of concept art of Wonder Man in the background, and he never popped up.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess that's another example, but I just think the Evan Peters one is egregious.
Well,
it is.
But we don't know. We might find out in that secret 10th episode that...
Shut up.
I will find out tomorrow. But another thing for me, I found, like, the stuff within WandaVision's great. The stuff outside of it bored the out of me. It was cool for a bit, but I just didn't care about Jimmy. I didn't care about the villain. I don't remember his name because he was just unfortunately shitty traditional Marvel villain.
This allows me to now go on and talk about my feelings about it all. So, on the whole, I think it succeeds in its primary objective, the finale I'm specifically talking about. Its emotional core and everything with Wanda and Vision and the kids and Agatha.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It does that spectacularly well. Where it falls apart, really, really annoyingly. Number one, the Pietro bull.
Yeah.
Number two, and I found this as the season went along, everything with Sword just kind of dwindles out. And I especially in the finale, I just feel you've got this sort of build-up that they're doing throughout the season, but it is backhanded constantly by the escalating drama of what's happening inside of Restview, which is far more captivating than some pouty people sitting in a tent watching a bubble.
Yeah.
And then the episode plays out and Wanda's opening the thing and they all go in and you're like, okay, maybe something's going to happen here. And it's just dealt with so ridiculously quickly, which on the one hand is understandable because we're dealing with superheroes and they're just mortal humans. They're going to be defeated quickly. But it's not satisfying because build Haywood to be this... I mean, he's not even a high-level threat by any means, but they build him to be a bigger player than he actually is. And what's even more striking is the criminal underusage of Monica and Jimmy and Darcy. Because in this last episode, what does Monica do?
She crashes the car, and that's actually all her scenes.
That's Darcy. Darcy crashes the car.
Oh, Monica.
Monica saves Billy and Tommy from Haywood.
Apart from that,
she has a talk with a Skrull.
But my point being, the only thing she does is stand in front of the kids and take bullets. The show establishes her as being empowered by going through the barrier. Now, obviously, this is set up for Captain Marvel too, but you expect the show to do something with it if it's going to go out of its way to establish it within its own narrative. You have this opportunity to pit her against Wanda, which, okay, the show doesn't do it because that's where the characters' arcs are going. Fair enough, understandable. But when it comes to the final fight and everything going on, she is a passive player. She spends the majority of the episode locked inside of the house. Now, I've come to learn since there was a deleted scene which was filmed where she and Ralph go to Agatha's basement to get the Dark Hold.
Yeah, the Dark Hold.
And the bunny rabbit
turns into a
shapeshifts
monster,
into a monster, and they have a fight of it. But all of this was cut.
Yeah.
Now, if it was left in, it would make them more active players, and it would take away one of my biggest criticisms about the episode. But as it stands, this whole sword setup really just does not pay off.
I think it's evident now then that two things really. Monica's best moments were in the episode where we get her backstory on being blipped and stuff. Like, that's some of her best drama. Yeah. Because she comes back and she's like, where's my mum? What's happened? What's going on? And then secondly, the sword stuff, the whole sword thing, I think, is mainly just like a vehicle to establish White Vision as a thing.
Yeah.
So that he can come back at some point and do a thing. I don't know what he'll do.
I think... Yeah, go on.
Like, I don't know what he'll do, but he's off somewhere.
I feel like the sword stuff would have paid off more if Vision hadn't slipped away from them so pathetically easily. It's like, finally, we have resurrected Vision, and he is up. Oh, he's rogue now.
But when I'm talking about sword, I am talking about our heroes as well. I'm not just talking about Haywood and his posse.
Yeah, I agree.
Monica and Jimmy and Darcy and everything regarding them.
What I think maybe the issue is that maybe some people behind the scenes or the director just felt that the show needed something to be an antagonist for the show, because Agnes doesn't really reveal herself until episode 8 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
She's nothing really. She's just in the background setting stuff up. So probably when you're writing the show, you're like, what is the villain? Because if you remove them, you just have comedy, Agnes. So they're like, okay, we need to just, unfortunately, shoehorn in this villain that will be easily resolved within the last episode. I think that's what they do.
And that's not a good thing to do, because a core part of storytelling is balancing all of your aspects. And, there's this painful disequilibrium, I find, with WandaVision, especially with this episode, where there's so much focus on the good stuff, and then there's just this bit on the side, which doesn't resolve particularly well.
Because, it's that thing, isn't it? They need... Wanda had somebody to fight, so Vision needs someone to fight as well,
Yeah.
And even though it looked great, that fight looked fantastic. It is kind of that thing of, instead of having them fight an invasion of sword agents, it was just like...
Because that wouldn't be interesting to do
That wouldn't be interesting, but what would be interesting is a better resolution with the internal conflict between Monica and her lot and the sword lot. As it stands, it's wrapped up far too quickly, and Monica is a passive player in it. Yeah. Jimmy is even more of a passive player because he's regulated to being outside the bubble the entire episode. He doesn't get to come in and join the fun.
Jimmy was great in those first couple of episodes when they... was it on a very special episode? Was it that one where they did when they introduced all the outside stuff?
Whichever one it was, yeah, sure.
I think so.
Oh,
like 3 or 4 or whatever it was, where they actually bring Jimmy and Darcy and all that in, and it's like he was great in that, and so was Darcy. To be fair, Darcy was great, but I see what you mean. Yeah, it peters out with them very sort of quickly. But yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, Haywood he comes across in the last episode as just incompetent. And that's the villain, kind of the villain that's followed us through the story. And he's incompetent. He got his guns took away, and then he tried to escape in one of the vehicles and got hit by a ice cream van. It's like, oh, come on, really? This is the
Well,
head
it's
of
all
Sword,
those-
the guy that was like, he built another vision.
I watched somebody's analysis of the last episode. They basically talk about like other misdirects that they've had in the MCU, like in Iron Man 3 in particular, where you have like Trevor and what's his name? What's the name of the character?
Killian.
Him, where he goes, "No, I am the Mandarin."
Yeah.
That guy, like, yeah. Some of the misdirects in this are kind of like that, where they set up this big thing like Hayward's the big bad super office guy, and then he's just whatever.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that he's not ever set up to be the real big bad, though, because it doesn't take a genius to figure out that there's always going to be this supernatural witch antagonist.
No. And to make him a villain, I think would be super disappointing because they're not even on the same level.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, Wanda would do that, and what? He's done. And it's okay.
You've got the outlandish superhero side of it, and then you've got the domestic side of it. The outlandish side pays off nicely. It's just the internal domesticity which is disorganized.
Yeah.
Whole Iron Man 3 thing with Killian, it's even weirder if you've actually read the actual Extremist graphic novel, because Killian actually was a character in the comics. And he had one scene where he shot himself, and that was it.
Fair enough. No, like what else is there? The Darkhold. I don't know if it's the same one as from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Look, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s canonicity now. I don't think it counts.
They jumped the shark with that, because every so often...
I'm just going to warn you, Dan is only on season 2.
Oh, okay.
Season 3, actually.
Okay, season 3.
Oh, nice one. I don't know. I can't remember where this is.
It's long after, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll shut up. I'll shut up.
Darkhold pops up in season 4 during all the Ghost Rider stuff.
Cool. Right. So there's a bit of debate on whether it's the same one, because they look slightly different, but like to have it be a potential tie into that's
different.
Great.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, I don't know, like, the itty-bitty details of it, but I know that, like, by its own story, it's in an alternate timeline now because of time travel shenanigans.
Yeah. With all this speculation, people are going to be disappointed.
Yeah,
you're setting this up here, and what actually happens to you is going to be down here because you've set this up. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, to be honest, I can't exactly... Okay, well, personally, I can't blame people for constantly speculating Mephisto with WandaVision, just because of how the plot with her kids went down in the comics.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
In a way, it is a direct adaptation, so it makes sense that people are hammering down on like the Mephisto.
Yeah.
Especially considering that ends off with planting the seeds of like Tommy and Billy's Wanda, implying that the paving the way for something reminiscent of the Mephisto story to actually play out.
In a way, I'm glad that Mephisto isn't in the MCU. I said this to Lawrence and Bradley the other week. Like, I'm glad he's not, because I don't want one more day to happen.
Yeah, but the chances of that happening are very slim. But fans
they're not going to do it. I know. Well, yeah, and also I'm glad that Quicksilver is still dead, because they can't adapt the Ultimates.
They're not going to do that either.
I mean, like they're never going to do one more day, because they're never going to let Peter and MJ get married in film.
No, they're not. No, and like the MJ they have in the MCU isn't the same as Mary Jane Watson anyway, so it's a bit like.
I think it is interesting to talk about the end credits scene and maybe White Vision.
I don't know where else White Vision could show up. Like,
but is it not possible that he just went off and Sabuku'd himself? I don't see. Like, I don't see many people talking about this, but like he realizes he's the Vision, so he goes off and does it.
I feel like he would have said that if that's what was gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, but
he just found out who he was and he flew off. Like,
yeah, to fly into the sun.
And then Wanda ended up in a cabin in the woods.
But so like, all right, so you know the White Vision stuff's hard to predict because that's just so open ended. But what is happening with Scarlet Witch? Because her children shouldn't really be talking to her because they don't exist anymore.
She's doing that same sort of astral projection thing that Doctor Strange does, where it's like I can physically be here, but I'm actually studying the Darkhold and like.
Sure.
Yeah, Strange had it. Kind of just goes to show how the kind of power gap between Strange and Wanda, because Strange had to be idle to
be sleeping
to go into the astral, whereas Wanda is multitasking. She's drinking coffee while outside while reading the Darkhold in her bedroom.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Also, I just want to. It's a bit kind of unrelated, but I want to point out that, and I only really went into this because I did the thumbnail earlier today for the.
I'll show you guys after.
Did you know that the shot on White Vision's eyes when he gets his memories back is a exact, like, frame for frame same shot as when Vision first opens his eyes in Age of Ultron?
Oh, is it? Oh, interesting.
That's kind of cool.
Makes sense. Why they do that again? Yeah. Cool.
I bet you were disappointed, Anthony, that White Vision wasn't Ultron, weren't you?
Oh well, he wasn't God's eyes. So
it wasn't God.
0 out of 10.
I was hoping though when he flew down and he was about to speak, I was like, "Come on!" But no.
I am God's eye.
Or are you just you talking Ultron's voice? I'd have been like, "Whoa!" Yeah. But no. But Lawrence, what do you think? What do you think's going on in the last scene?
Well, I'll quickly say my 2 cents about White Vision. Happy.
Go ahead, yeah.
Because I predicted that this would happen. This exact thing would happen. That Vision, good Vision, proper Vision would be installed into White Vision. So happy days. He'll turn up again later. That scene, let's see. She's studying the Darkhold, tutoring herself. She hears the voices of her kids, so maybe she's trying to break down the dimensional barriers in order to reclaim them. Maybe. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Like Billy and Tommy could only exist inside of the hex. So what's to stop her from just creating a localized hex?
That's what I was thinking. Maybe she's just created another hex that's like interdimensional.
The only problem with the first hex was that she unintentionally had hostages.
Yeah.
Which is a pain.
I think the thing is that in the hex, she births the kids. She literally creates 2 souls. Stands to reason that in some ethereal plane of existence, those souls would still exist to some degree. So I believe that she's trying to find a way to reclaim them, which is probably what Doctor Strange might be about.
Yeah,
She didn't
like
like to me. Like when she heard the voices, she didn't seem surprised. Like it was like she was expecting, not expecting to hear the voices, but hearing the voices cry out to her. It was like, oh, why am I hearing my kids? They don't exist. It's like, oh, I need to go help my kids. Like that seems so weird to me, as if she already knew that they are still around.
Yeah, and if she's trying to break down the ethereal planes of reality again, multiverse, bring in the X-Men and all of them. It's just another
Please.
Oh, do you remember when people were theorized, like New Rockstar's, one of New Rockstar's theories that just made me laugh out loud was his Hexmen theory.
That's that guy. I respect him. He makes a lot of good content, but he is the epitome of what is wrong with Marvel fan base and Star Wars fan base. They just look into every little detail. Senor Scratchy has the same name as Mr. Scratch in the comic book. It must be him. It's like, or maybe it's just a nod, or maybe it's just a homage, and like nothing to it. But no.
And Monica talking to the Skrull, and the Skrull being like, the person that wants to speak to you is up here.
That doesn't, like, I don't know. It doesn't do anything for me. When I saw that scene, I was like, oh, Captain Marvel too. Oh god.
Oh yeah.
I hate Captain Marvel. Such a boring character. So that one didn't do anything for me. Was this show actually funny? You know, like the comedy.
Yeah.
Was it?
I think it was funny. Yeah.
It did. And this is what I've been trying to figure out. I found the show literally not funny at all. Even though it's trying to do comedy, it's literally, doing sitcoms. And I'm wondering, is it that the show is just written comedy? Or is it that the methods, the formula for the comedy just doesn't work for people who are used to, like, 2000s plus comedy?
Or maybe you're just not a sitcom kind of guy.
I don't know. I love a bit of Friends.
You should have seen the grin on my face when they did that Malcolm in the Middle piss take opening.
Oh, that was a good opening. I enjoyed that one.
I grew up watching Malcolm in the Middle when I was a kid.
Same. Yeah.
In fact, I think like the 90s/2000s opening theme is probably one of the catchiest variations.
Yeah, I can't really remember many of the other ones, so maybe that just goes to show that they worked better for me.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take a guess here, just randomly. Lawrence, you didn't watch Malcolm in the Middle, did you?
No.
Why does it not surprise me? I just knew as soon as I was talking when Dan said that thing. I looked at Lawrence. I didn't see a single reaction. I was like, "Yep, you never watched Malcolm in the Middle."
I've seen bits and pieces of Even Stevens.
What about Modern Family?
To be honest,
I
never really watched Modern Family either.
But you've seen bits of it, right?
Did anyone ever watch a Nickelodeon show called iCarly?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Lawrence did not, so he doesn't need to answer.
It's the same thing as when people said, well, WandaVision missed referencing Friends, but I'm like, the setting of Friends is so specifically isolated to a specific type of location.
Yeah.
It's you can't really adapt it within the context of...
No, and the other ones all focus on families. Friends
exactly, that's the whole point.
Yeah, I mean, how can WandaVision parody Friends when Wanda doesn't have any left?
Exactly.
This is true.
Even the Avengers don't like her.
Everybody hates her.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I meant that all her friends are dead, but yeah.
Oh, you know what? When I saw her come down in her dress, like her Scarlet Witch uniform, I was like, I'd happily be her friend right now.
It was great. That costume looked great.
It looked real good.
Do you need a minute?
Oh, I've had 10 already since watching that.
Oh my god.
I'm actually surprised how full on they went with the Scarlet Witch costume. Like, I was expecting it to be like, I knew it would have the headdress and everything from the silhouette, but I imagined that it would have been just a little bit closer to what she'd worn before. But they went like full on dress with this one.
I feel like they managed to find that happy medium between MCU, what she'd had so far up until that point, and comic Scarlet Witch costume. Because like the comic Scarlet Witch costume was just like a swimsuit with tights and a cape. Like,
yeah, it was.
It wasn't great.
It was.
It's not a great costume. So I feel like the one they went with, it matches up pretty well. Like, it's a good blend of.
What is your waifu, Bradley?
I wish.